Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kathy. Kathy, sunshine this morning, smiling. Roman, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're
Great.
doing great, great.
So, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Last
you.
week we were, I think it was more technical difficulty that the will. It was not our intent not having a show last week, but for a series of circumstances, we were not able to broadcast last week. It's our first failure in
It
four.
wasn't a failure, no failure. We just didn't broadcast. Yeah.
Exactly. We do what we want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's our show. Yeah.
Dear audience, I
Yes.
apologize for not being there last Thursday.
There you
I
go.
hope your Thanksgiving went very well, and we hope to see you in good shape, in good spirit, and we have I think, an exceptional show today. I think Kathy has some update for us. The
Yay!
last show we spoke about the bark house and the
Yes.
situation. So, what's happening, Kathy?
Okay. Well, I am proud to report that we raised the funds necessary, the 13,000 plus that we had to have for the show. And thank you all for your contributions, your kind words, and your help. We are scheduled to have the flight out on Saturday at 6 a.m. And hopefully, we will have 70 plus dogs that will go to their forever homes. So, thank you. Kudos to everyone. We're so proud that we've been able to do this. But boy, oh boy, what a tough road it's been. So, thank you again very much. We're on our way, and hopefully we'll be able to broadcast live. I can't guarantee that we're going to be doing that, but we're going to try to broadcast live for the flight. This is with a brand new transport organization that has never flown animals before. They're more like a FedEx kind of cargo type organization, so it's going to be their first time as well, and our first time using them. So keep your fingers crossed, but we're sure that they're going to be in much better condition than sitting at home sitting in the shelter or sitting on the street. So thank you very much. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, son. How are you? Haven't seen you for a while. So that's the update that we have. If you want me to go into a little bit more detail later on, if we have time, then I will.
Well, congratulations! In less than 2 weeks, the money's there, so the
Yes.
dog can be rescued and shipped or sent by plane to a new home in Saturday. That's fantastic.
Well,
Great.
you know what that does though, Gaetan and Roman, is it lets us know that animals, that dogs are very, very important to people. So when you put out that there's a need and we've got to get them to their forever homes as opposed to having them euthanized, people will rally, even in the time of COVID, even in the time of the holiday season. The economy is suffering, but when it comes to our animals, we go that extra mile. So very, very
Thank
proud
you.
of everyone.
Thank you, everybody. That's fantastic. It's a good
Yeah.
thing going on. So we have a subject today, which is we're going to look at different breed of dog, and we're going to have like some comment on the type of breed and what to expect, and we'll have 5 breed to look at, and then we'll have a nice conversation. The first breed is this one, and this breed is called the Australian Shepherd dog or the Australian cattle dog, which is the same breed, and it's a very very active breed. This breed like to be outdoor, run around, interact with humans and animal, and uh, really a lot of energy, a lot of power and determination, and very very smart dog also.
I
They
was
have
just going to say, yeah, they're very smart.
yeah.
Very smart.
Smart is smart. That's correct. So a so this dog is not recommended to live in an apartment. It will not be happy in an apartment or a small confined space. And so you have a large land, multiple acre farm or something like that. That will make this dog very very happy. And any comment, Roman, Kathy?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you guys know that the Australian cattle dog basically is half British and half Australian in origin. So it's a mixture of an English Drover cur and the Australian dingo. So it's a combination of, like, we would call it a wolf hybrid.
Hmm.
Okay, that's kind of like a combination of that, of a feral dog in Australia that lives alone in his prairie, does his own thing, mixed
Hmm.
with a very specific working dog, and basically was there to cattle and carry for cattle and protect them and guard them and work with them. They are very intense dogs. So many of you who are in Texas know very well how those dogs work. They are very, very intense working dogs. They are difficult to just let them do their own thing. They need to be guided. They need to be instructed. They love instructions, and they're kind of performer checks. They want to be very precise about what they're doing things. Now, they're bullies in the context. So once they have something in their mind, they need to follow through with it. Meaning is, for those people who do not have proper knowledge about the dog breeds and knowledge about specific training approaches, they may a little bit struggling with that. Proper exercise, enough socialization, very important, especially with other animals. It's very important. So yeah, I would not suggest that dog for a first timer living in a condo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
But they're awesome dogs, really awesome, super smart dogs. I worked with a couple of those dogs. Actually, I board training one of them, and I was super impressed how detail oriented they are. I would say they feel to me like border collies to the next
Hmm.
level. Not
Okay.
as smart because they have other breed traits, but they don't have so much OCD as the border collies. So I'm not saying that I would prefer this particular dog. I would not
Are
say
they
that.
Are they affectionate, and do they like to be around people, or are they more working oriented?
I would say they will be challenging with small children, unruly children. Those dogs have a
Okay.
tendency to kind of like put things in place. So yeah, if the dog is not proper socialized and doesn't have moral and ethic skills in place, does not mean obedience. Obedience is
Hmm.
just a small aspect of it. But he should understand what his family is and what this, the frame of work is, because he will snap at kids hands, legs, try to manipulate them, because that's what he was bred to do. And we have to be very clear. I'm not making a lump sum here. A dog is not his breed. Each dog is individually, but is a big aspect. So breed genetics,
Hmm.
from my understanding, makes about, let's say, 48% of the dog's behavior, and 52% are environmental factors, which people control 90% of those.
Hmm.
So it comes back to the owner, how he handles that dog, how he learns that dog. Dogs
Right.
who come from rescue are a little bit more challenging. We don't know the package they come with, so definitely I would suggest to work with a force-free, 100% force-free behaviorist who knows this breed in particular, because they can be very challenging.
Hmm.
Otherwise, great dogs. You want to hike? No problem. You want to extreme hike? No problem. You live in Arizona? No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where Dale is. Good morning, Dale. Yeah.
Okay, we have another breed, which is I put it in this a certain order the breed we want to discuss today, and this is the Jack Russell Terrier. And the reason why I put the Jack Russell after the Australian Shepherd dog is is to create a little bit of the contrast. So the background of the terrier date back to the 16th century, and it's happened that I came across a very good historian of dog breed and dog's origin, and I will call on this specialist, Roman, please.
No, I'm not. No, guys. I'm not a historian. Okay, don't take me wrong. When I work with dogs, I like to understand their background. I need to understand their heritage. It is important for me when I do, especially online training, and I don't have physically the dog with me, to understand, the nutritional background of the dog. What is the original job description? What is his environment that he has to work on? So the terriers, to be more exactly, terrier was a dog's name who was seems like a famous dog in 1480 whatever, and this dog was basically a scent dog who was out there hunting in holes, in confined places, into tunnels, and basically prey that anything that is in that hole and get it out. I'm not going into details how we do the job because we have, rated.
Yeah.
It's a family show.
Yeah. So their job was to kill and remove anything that's in there, in that hole. So that's why they're so awesome finding bed bugs. There is no hole that a bug can hide. Not a tiny. They can send one bug in a bedroom.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have a bug in your bedroom,
Yeah.
dead.
Are they
So,
one of those fly catchers?
I don't. Terriers, because of their tendencies to go so high into a prey drive, which is what most people struggling with. And I'm not saying, the Staffordshire Terrier is a terrier with the meaning of a rat terrier, but in that terrier group, we use specific breed traits out of that, which intensity is high. So all the terriers are very intense dogs. I worked with a Boston Terrier the other day. I call him Little Shark. Okay, that size of a dog. Okay, jumping as high as my face to get my mask off. And he was only 7 months of a puppy. Imagine a terrier 5 times his height jumping up. And it took me literally about 20 minutes to calm him down to the point that I can actually work with him, because he was all over the place. And not mistakenly, you will see many people describing their dog as rat terror, or
Yeah, right.
my terror instead of terror. It's not a spell check actually, and mean it kind of sort of. But otherwise, they're great dogs, very energetic, super fast thinkers. This is one of the few dogs that I actually use the clicker, which I not really like to work with, but I prefer visual and verbal cues. But the clicker is one thing too. The terrors comes with my pocket when I go to a visit, like a home visit or do online training. They're super food motivated, but we have to be very clear how their motivation is. Every dog has different motivation. One wants affection, the other one wants attention, the other one, wants a job, another one wants to play. So once you get terrier on your side and you become the source of that energetic outlet, you will have an awesome dog. Unfortunately, I lost my terrier a couple of weeks ago. It's actually my wife's dog, who was a kill list dog in Phoenix because of what's called in Phoenix desert, whatever allergies he has. Like, he was a desert illness. I don't recall now the name in my mind. And he was very sick. So he would come to the euthanasia list, and he died 17 years old.
Yeah.
Not really know exactly, but at least
Yeah.
17 years old he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a Reiki master.
Oh,
He
okay.
was joining us doing Reiki with people. He was just being part of that. And I feel those dogs are great in households, but they get easily stressed.
Mhm.
So young kids, lots of traffic in the house, make those dogs really reactive. You say barking, nervous, excitement, chewing, biting, snapping. So really, I would say you have to stand your emotional ground with those dogs, guide them, educate them, lots of education, because if you let that loose,
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend that has a Jack Russell Terrier, and he found that his dog needed to have a job,
yeah,
needed to have something to do. So he always, when he would take him to the dog park, this little Jack Russell would go around and get the other dogs, bring them all together, almost like herding the other dogs, and get them to start digging. So they all would start digging a hole together, and he would take videos of it. It was, yeah, it was like he was the boss. He was the boss guy. Like, okay, you're doing this right. You're doing that. Almost like a lesson in how to dig 101.
let's get organized, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, and also if you gave him something to do, to go and get his toy and put it in the box, it was like very proud to be able to be that one that got my master his toy and put it in the box. So it's like a Jack Russell takes pride in being able to do something. That's what I get.
I feel enrichment is the magic key
Okay, yeah.
to a happy terrier.
Yeah.
Barbara is laughing in the background. Yeah.
We have another breed of dog that we like to share, and that's the German Shepherd. It's a very well-known breed, and I have a small anecdote to share with you. I'm living in the suburb of Chicago, about 30 miles from Chicago, in a small town called Naperville. Not that small, but a very nice town. And in my surrounding, I would say most of the resident, I would say almost 80% of the resident, they have a dog in my surrounding. And their dog size is between 5 and 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds. The biggest dog is probably 25 pounds in the area. And I was in Chicago, downtown Chicago, in the North River side, which is a very hip area of Chicago. And I saw the resident there out of there with their dog. They have German Shepherd, they have Doberman, they have Irish Setter, large dog in asphalt, steel, and concrete environment. And I was looking at that and say, wow, you have an apartment in Chicago and you have a German Shepherd or a Doberman or that kind of dog. And for me, it was like, is that the right environment for that kind of dog?
Yeah.
And so that's an anecdote that by the way, I share with you. Not every dogs in Chicago are full-size dog or that size of dog, but I was surprised to see the number of dog of that size in Chicago. There's also the little poodle and the little Chihuahua on a leash, which is like 18 feet long, and other anecdote like that.
18 feet long. 18 feet, you mean 18 inches long?
No, 18 feet long. The little dog like this is about 18 feet from the owner. On the side.
Gotcha.
And the side was the other this retractable leash, like it's stretched like 15, 12, 18 feet. I don't know, in that range of it's like far away in the front. Here's the little thing pulling the owner forward.
Well,
anyway, somewhat comical that.
I'm sorry. A lot of people feel that a German Shepherd, they get them because they believe that they're protection. Mm-hmm. And they will go ahead and not realize that it's not good for an apartment. This dog needs a lot of exercise. And these are also war dogs, military dogs. They're very highly skilled. And it's one thing I think sometimes that gets my goat thinking that people will buy a dog because they think it's cute, because German Shepherd puppies are very, very cute. And once they realize that this dog needs a lot of attention, needs a job, needs to be able to do what they need, what they're supposed to be doing, which of course is protect us. But Roman actually can go into a lot more detail about what the German Shepherd's capabilities are, which are very, very, very in depth. Okay, Roman, your cue.
So yeah, we need to remember what a shepherd is. I actually call them sticky note dogs, and I know it sounds funny, but in the dog's mind, he has this ability to remember a lot of things. And so it's kind of like if you would go into a bedroom of a German Shepherd, you will see on the wall all the sticky notes. Get rid of the cat. Chase the truck. Watch the neighbor.
Yeah.
Make sure the door is open.
Bark real loud. Bark real loud.
So they always come back to, if the opportunity comes, he pulls a sticky note and finish the job.
Yeah.
So I had kind of traumatic experiences with shepherds. My first dog was a shepherd. His name was Rex. He was a Greek stray dog. And I don't remember details. I was kind of like, I think I was like 3 years old, but I remember the dog. I remember the place we found him. But it imprinted to me how a dog feels like, this perfect combination of a guardian hunter. He was there, aware, cozy, snuggly, perfect at some points. So if you look into the German Shepherd from a historical perspective, it's not a very old breed considering the other breeds that we mentioned before. So if I remember right, he was pretty popular back in the mid 1800s, and he was a combination of 7 well-known shepherd dogs. So the German Shepherd, the French Berger Picard, if I speak French, sorry my French.
Bien sûr, Monsieur Picard.
Cane, Parator, if I remember right. A Pergmasaco Shepherd, Pastore de Orpa, Lupino, and yeah, he was kind of a mix because back in time, it was a necessary, it was a need in the military to have dogs that perform a certain way. And so it was important to have a specific mix of quality. I don't want to go into details about how these dogs end up in a war dogs, but this was not a war dog. And the way he was created a war dog is not a nice way to remember, at least from a dog training history perspective. However, it becomes very popular because we saw a quality in that dog, in start mixing breeds together to get something different yet so special. And yeah, I think the First World War was imprinted of having accessible war dogs as a shepherds, messenger, alert dogs, weapon carrier dogs, sled dogs, you name it, they did it. It was very easy to carry the dog than carry a donkey. Well, he couldn't carry a cannon, but he could carry ammunition. Yeah, thank you. And so that was very interesting to observe the history. Unfortunately, and here is I would say the general complaint, we treat German Shepherds like they will be soldiers. Their emotional intelligence, they want to be perfect. They're not doing wrong. There's nothing to punish, nothing to correct. I don't understand why a shepherd should wear a prong collar because he's a shepherd. I don't understand why in training we should use a prong collar or a shock collar because he's a military dog. These are nonsense ideas that have no scientific evidence. There's no solid foundation of those claims. Oh, a canine, you have to treat him like a military, a police dog. Okay, not get me started. So I would like to people reconsider that they have a mammal of a species of a Canidae that is emotionally intelligent, like a 7-year-old. Tell a 7-year-old something and you want him to understand that. The same rule applies to that particular dog. Explain to him what you want to do. Show him how to tie his shoe leashes. He'll try to do that. I have seen a German Shepherd opening a gate that was locked with 2 slide locks, with a hinge and a nail in it, with his tongue. Going in there, push the nail out of the tongue, with the tongue, flip up the thing, and then with his paw, push the... I mean, I couldn't do that if I wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Really? I would like tap in the blindness, try to figure out how this thing locks. He opened up with his tongue. Not one time. There was like, finally they put locks on it. And I was like, you see those videos all the time of the shepherds doing funny stuff. I feel the shepherd has the capacity to be the #1 world dog everywhere. After the Mastiff, of course. I'm a Mastiff lover. Anyway, but I would suggest people who have a shepherd in a house to really consider create a job description.
Yeah.
And I mean a job description that is in compliance to your environmental factors. You live in a house with a baby. Make that dog be part of the baby's education. Let the baby walk the dog. Let the dog be responsible being walked by a child, you know? And don't take me wrong. I'm not saying you should send your 5-year-old out for a walk with your dog. It's not.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you have a baby and, you know, you're pregnant, start working with your dog. Teach him how to sit in the car. He would be a perfect guardian dog. He would watch your child. I have seen a shepherd protecting a child that he just met. He was ready for adoption because I work also with rescues. And we had a conversation with the parents and the kid got loose. And I had a kind of like a steep staircase, like you would walk very steep to go to the next level of that backyard. And so the child bolted out of his hand, started running down that staircase. The shepherd who I was having there for adoption, he ran. And I was like, oh man, he's going to bite the child. Right now I got shocked because he had a bite history. And I was like, I said the F word, sorry. And that dog blocked the child for running down the staircase. He knew that the staircase is dangerous. I don't know how. He knew that was not a good place to run to. And he blocked that child with his body. The child made a U-turn, walked back to his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's it. The adoption is 100% proof. That was it. I never heard from these people again. Always got business, gift cards and love cards and snuggle cards. That dog died a couple of years ago. So this is a shepherd. So if you want to adopt a shepherd, doing internet research will not cut it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not suggest to be not even a second owner of a shepherd. I would say you have to learn, foster a shepherd a little bit, get used to his changes and his moods and his work ethics and his sometimes he's a little bit, sometimes if they want something, they really want to get it. And they're big dogs. It's not small, and you have to afford it. It's not just having a cute, nice puppy German Shepherd, and then he's growing up to a 130-pound dog. He needs a vet care. He needs you go to a vet visit. You put in boarding care. You need to transport that dog. Everything is associated with costs, and due to bad breeding practices, message to AKC. The breed went very downhill because we're only looking on shapes and looks and forget totally about the breed traits. And yeah, there's a lot of difficult dogs out there that many people struggling with, and then they resource to bad training practices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus the fact they're very, very loyal.
Yeah.
Oh,
all dogs.
Yeah, they're very, very loyal. Well, in terms of the shepherd and I think the lab too, they're all very loyal, so that they will complete their tasks no matter what it is. They will go that extra mile. Okay. Yep. So speaking of labs, don't we have the lab as the next one?
Oh, Kathy.
I would make a quiz right now to your audience. What was the lab originally bred to do? Where is he from?
Hey, check. I'm a Canadian here. Should I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Labrador, east part of Canada.
Oh man, you
East
guys.
part of the is it's a eastern part of Canada. Is one of the most isolated province of Canada. Newfoundland is it's an island at the eastern tip of the St. Lawrence River Gulf, and you have an area of rock. It's an island of granite and rock, which are 3 billion years old.
No tennis
Eh,
ball to change.
nope, and it's surrounded by current of water coming from the Arctic. So in the summer, the water temperature is about 34 degrees Fahrenheit if it's warm, and that's the temperature of the water surrounding the island. Labrador is the coast, the part of the coast which is running almost north south of the triangle shape on the east side of Canada. So Labrador and Newfoundlander come from that area. The On the Labrador side, there was more forest and mountain than on the Newfoundland itself. So that's the origin of the breed there. Why? And to me, the question is why they were there. Because originally Newfoundland was a fishing port. European sailor were coming in the bank, Newfoundland bank, to fish because it was a very rich in fishes of all kind. And instead of returning to Portugal or Spain or France or England or Scandinavia, they were they stopped by in Newfoundland and they have a post there, kind of take a break before returning. And this is where the dog's coming from. What was the purpose of the dog? Probably the guy is not going to go fishing. So what's left is hunting in the forest. And there was very little agricultural work there possible because of the weather. And so I'll put my bet that was more like a hunting dog, a companion dog, and a protection dog than anything else in that area at that time. I'm not an historian,
Okay.
so I'm listening to you. You said okay.
No. I mean, I totally agree with you on that. Let's give it a date. 1500.
Yeah,
So it's a very old dog, indeed. And you have to imagine back then, with the first settlers on those islands, there was nothing there other than fishing at that point. I feel as a Labrador, they never grew up. They're just puppies until they're 5, kind of, sort of. And then they kind of mellow out. Until then, they're beside their food machines, besides they are kind of like plug into I'm not saying any battery names, but they're kind of full power all time long. I remember I had a client in New York. She was a very well-known dentist in downtown New York. She called me because she was tired spending so much money in her new jackets. And I was like, I'm a dog trainer. She's like, no, I'm getting to that. She says, I have a dog. Every time I walk him, I miss one of my arms, like the shirts. He tears it off. So that dog was, in the morning until it was the end of the walk, he was basically just tearing apart her clothes. He went to a couple of trainers, and then this is the first time I recognize the capacity of a Labrador, how much energy he has. And if you don't create that structure, and if you don't create these natural outlets for the dog to burn that metabolic energy that he has compensated, you will have a hard time getting that. This is a great dog, not only for hunting. I would not say he's a gun dog per se, but many people train to them because they're smart dogs and they're retrievers, and they don't give a bark about being cold. Let's just go in and do it. the good thing is they have this interesting ability to have less sensitivity on the skin, which causes other problems. So if they have skin infections, if they have skin allergies, it comes up very late. But they are so unsensitive to their skin that they don't mind being pulled and snuggled a little bit with kids. They're more friendly. They're good working dogs. They have a solid posture. That's why they're preferred dogs as service dogs.
Right.
Once they get the brain together.
For me, the image I have of that dog is like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
A teddy bear dog.
Yeah.
You see, you look at that face.
And then labs and golden retrievers. They're the Huggy Bear kissy face dogs. Yeah.
Speaking of kissy face, do not kiss a dog in his face.
Yes.
Not because of the salvia, it's because you just don't do that. Okay. Especially
well, I do.
You're
your dog.
I would just send a cool message to everyone. You have to respect the dog's body, like you would respect a person's body. You cannot just do things to your dog because he tolerates it. Tolerating doesn't mean liking it.
Yeah.
Right.
And if your dog is licking your child's face, it's not because he unbelievably loves him. Sometimes it's a calming message. The dog wants to calm that child down. It's a displacement behavior. I've seen people, my child can punch him in the face and my dog still lick him in his face.
Gosh.
No, it's not the same way. I've seen many licking faces that end up full of blood, end up in ER. And unfortunately, there are about 450,000 children every year end up in ER, usually from their own dogs.
Oh, boy.
So that's a clear wake-up call. Don't mess around with the dog's face. There's nothing to kiss. And if we have children, and I'm saying that because many people, it's kind of like having a big house, having a big family, an SUV and a Labrador kind of like idea. I would say they're great dogs for family members, but we need to treat them like a family member.
Yeah.
You don't punch a dog, you don't pull on his ears just because he tolerates it doesn't mean it's okay with it.
Right.
And we have to educate that dog. He needs to learn. Dogs don't come pre-programmed to be nannies and dog sitters. Okay? They need knowledge and experience that comes from parenting. So healthy parenting is an aspect of treating a dog, no matter what breed it is. Okay? We have to have basic parenting skills. So a Labrador will be more flexible to your mistakes than what a Shepherd do, or an Australian Kennel dog, or a Mastiff, or a Terrier. So if you're not good at parenting, it's more forgiving to have a Labrador than having another dog. Just put it out there.
Speaking of Mastiffs, that's one of your favorite breeds now, right? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Okay.
Hold on, I missed that.
Yeah, I thought you were undressing for me.
No, really.
Okay. Mastiff. There you go.
It's a statement. No,
go for it.
I'm from Greece. I'm Greek Austrian. And I'm already putting in a little bit of a history of the Mastiff. That particular one is an English Mastiff. English Mastiffs, Old English Mastiffs, Bull Mastiffs, Spanish Mastiffs, French Mastiffs, Persian Mastiffs, Asian Mastiffs, Japanese Mastiffs. This is all a group of Mastiffs that origin is back in ancient Greece. We're talking about 2,500 before Christ. So we are having now 2020. This is 4,500 years all the way in the past. Okay, we were not digging in holes and we're not hanging out on the trees. Back then, in the Asian mountain range, Babylonian, this basically grew up for and then spread into the Anatolian Middle East, so-called. So the ancient Greeks then start having herding traits. The King Molosser, I'm not sure about the dates. I think it's about 600, 450 before Christ. They start professionally trained dogs as guardians breeds. So Great Pyrenees, Maremma, Italian, Hungarian, French, Spanish guardian breeds all come in from the same family of mastiffs. That's why they're big, but they will be bred down to some specifics. So what we look on those breeds, which are very special, is that as a guardian breed, not compared to a herding dog, not compared to a hunting dog, the guardian breed is one of the ancient dogs that we cared for to call them our partners all the way back to the very beginning of human canine relationship, when we look for almost 40,000 years plus. Some Greek lectures talk about 100 years history between human and dogs. The science can only confirm 40,000 years to 50,000 years. So I would say that history comes in with that mastiff, and we need to know that mastiffs emotionally are just like humans. The way they perceive the family, the way they protect them, they're selfless. They're just like children without an ego. They're big. They can be dangerous. Okay, if we don't take care of them. Some breeds are very specific, trained to guard and protect. And so I would say, without getting too long in my favorite breed, if you don't
Thank you.
have $1,000 on your bank account, on call, don't get a mastiff.
Okay.
Lots of food, a vet visit. Sometimes you can't even get your dog into the car because you need a bigger car. So there are all these things, ideas behind getting a mastiff that needs to be considered. They're cute as a puppies. Damn, they grow so big so quickly. You can have a mastiff for 250 pounds. You can have a Great Pyrenees, which is also a mastiff breed, 160 pounds. Okay, all these things make an impact. How many dogs you can have, your property. If your dog grows up, you will have a problem with the landlord. You have a problem with animal control. People feel offended by your dog. You cannot just go in the dog park. Small dogs will attack that big animal that just came in the park. It looks like an elephant to them. And so all these aspects of that, we have to be very careful how we set that dog up for success. So it's not for a first-time owner. You should have not just do your internet research. You should literally go to rescues, discuss with fosters, understand the breed, find a friend who has a mastiff, ask questions, stay with them for a week and see all the struggles they have. How do you contain a mastiff? You need half of your bedroom. You need a king-size bed to share your bed with one mastiff.
Oh, yeah.
And rated for 450 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
To adult
you need a
mastiff.
minivan. You need a minivan.
Yeah.
You cannot have clean clothes. You cannot have clean walls. The slobber will drop in.
Yeah.
Would like it.
And you know what you need that's super important is a pooper picker-upper.
A big-sized one.
A big one, yeah.
Imagine you have to feed a mastiff with some dog brands. You have to feed 6 cups a day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
Sure is, yeah.
So I really feel your passion for mastiff.
Yeah,
It's
I do too.
unfortunately at the end of the show here.
Lucky one, you keep it for the end, huh?
We need to have more for the end. Yes, that was the plan. And I think that was a very joyful show today. Everybody was in a good mood, and I hope the audience appreciate. And I invite them to tell their friend and let them know that if they find anything interesting in our show, to just tell them. And we will like to continue to produce this show for the benefit of the audience and learning more about dog and our relationship with dog. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye.
And we'll see you next time.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.